Hello, this is Lucian Amos. It is currently 9:58 p.m. on Thursday, the 18th of July. I'll be doing Thursday's workout, which is 3 sets of walking lunges, stretches, 1 hour of yoga, and then TRX rows. I will begin the workout now.
Miller just lobbed the message way over Jones. Some technical jargon.
Let's see if they can use Grammarly to their advantage. Jonesy says you get to make a point in a friendly way. And now Miller's taking a technical thought and asking Grammarly to rewrite it. What's it make the difference? It's love all, but does Jones feel it?
Yes. Caroline. Game, set, and match.
Thanks to Grammarly, everyone right helps you reach your goal.
Download Grammarly for free.
An experienced QPC eater knows you should never let the ketchup that comes from the hot and juicy burger go to waste.
Probably an outage. By law, the generators are supposed to kick off in about 10 seconds. Backup generators in this business, the power level
story will you tell?
Dispatch 727L30. I'm going to be back up and detective. Dispatch to studio self-storage. Have a copy. 727L30, do you copy? 727L30, please respond. Officer needs help. 727L30 at studio self-storage. Her next to Kim, but I can't talk to her. All units, police and fire are in clear channel 2. Switch to task channel 50. Officer on open mic in distress. Needs assistance. 727L30 at studio self-storage. Mommy.
Take them to the hospital, everyone else on the engine now, let's go.
Captain Helen is a switch detective. Got Matt. She's here. Nothing, can you hear me? Is it reactive? Fractured when? Slices broken, mitral fracture. Starting fluids. One in the arm, just the witness, Athena. How's she doing? I'm good. What do you got?
Suspect down?
Alive. Wounded.
Let's get a medic. You can wait.
Dispatch, I need additional RA. Studio self-storage. I need a move.
Oh. That's what we need right there.
You can push the pedal now. The all-electric ID4. It's instant torque, it's instantly fun. Visit your Volkswagen dealer today for 0% APR on new 2024 all-electric ID4 standard and S models. Limited inventory available.
Namaste, welcome everyone. Thank you so very much for joining me. I'm going to guide you through this full body yin yoga practice. So a really great full body tune-up. We're going to try to do a little bit of everything, and I'm not using any props. The only thing I have here are these little yoga jellies. It's just to help give me a little bit of padding under my knees are under my hands for certain poses just because I am on hardwood. At home, if you need extra support, you can always double up with 2 yoga mats, one on top of each other, or you can just grab some pillows or even just a folded up blanket if you think you'll need a little bit more joint support. And I'll also link these yoga jellies in the description if you wanted to get your own. They're super useful. I use mine all the time. So before we get into our poses, please come and take a seat. We're just going to start with a short grounding meditation. And you can sit in any way that is comfortable to you. This class is good for any time of the day, morning, afternoon, night. So whatever kind of day you've had or are about to have, try to give yourself a few moments just to connect with yourself, to let thoughts about your day drift away. Yoga provides us the opportunity to connect deeply with ourselves. So feel your sit bones anchor into the ground beneath you. Almost as if you had roots that could go all the way down to the core of the earth. Sourcing stability and support from this base. Connecting it to your tailbone. And like the trunk of a tree, your spine lengthens up tall and solid. Breathing in some softness to your facial muscles, to your arms. And for a few more breaths here, as you inhale, imagine your breath going all the way down the length of your spine, down your tailbone, into those roots, all the way down to the earth. And as you exhale, feel that same breath flow all the way back up, along that central channel, out through your nose. 10 breaths right here. Bring your focus back to the present. Let's open up the eyes. And we'll begin with a half butterfly pose. So you can simply extend your right leg out to the side. My hips are still facing forward to the middle of my mat, but I'm going to rotate my chest and my shoulders over towards my right knee and right leg, and I'm simply going to fold forward. And there's really no need to force yourself into a specific shape. You might be going lower than what I am or higher up. It's all okay. Try to find your edge. So finding some sensation without pain, without struggle. And then try to relax every muscle of your body. And then we'll hold the pose, each pose in this class, for about 3 to 4 minutes. And I like to be silent throughout. So just stay with your breath and maybe stay connected to that tree visualization of the roots and your breath flowing in and out. Use arm strength, walk your hands back slowly to uncurl, making your way back up through to center so your shoulders are back over your hips. Before we do this pose, we're gonna come into shoelace. So you can overcross your left leg and try to bring your right knee as close to the top of your left one as you can. You might need to readjust here. So you can modify by lessening this cross, looking a little bit more like this, or you can also modify by keeping your left leg straight out in front of you. This will make it a little bit easier on your hips, but you will get a pretty good stretch into your hamstrings. So just a different variation of the pose. Choosing what is suitable to you here. And rather than folding directly straight forward, we're gonna add a little bit of a side bend. So you can crawl your right fingertips out. And I'm gonna bring my left hand behind my lower back to help encourage this left shoulder to roll back behind me. So it'll probably be feeling this through your outer left hip and glute and through the side of your waist. Relax your head and relax your neck. And deep belly breaths here. gently come out of this side bend, lifting yourself up. And it might feel good just to straighten both legs in front of you or to drop your knees side to side in a windshield wiper motion. Whatever you feel that you need here. And we'll be setting ourselves up for a half butterfly on the second side. So this time your right foot comes to the inside of the leg. We'll be folding down and over towards your left knee. And I'm turning my palms to face up to encourage myself to relax in the pose, not gripping on anything. And I'm letting my spine naturally round, my chin to tuck into my chest a little bit here. Yin yoga is really about finding a relationship with gravity. Letting yourself be soft and to melt. And really getting used to the concept of less being more. If you're used to being hard on yourself, if you're used to really pushing and chasing sensation, this might be the most challenging part of yin for you, is doing less. But in the end, I promise, you reap more benefits. So just settle in here. Now walk your hands in, take your time to unwind from the pose. And our last seated pose will come into that shoelace variation. So my right knee is now pretty much going to be in the middle of both hips. So centered along my spine. My left knee is trying to stack on top. It might be a little bit more like this, which is totally fine. You can also modify by straightening your right leg and working the pose from there. See if you can get both sit bones anchored, lengthening through your chest, and then we'll move into a side bend. So crawling your left hand out this time, roll your right shoulder back, maybe bring your right hand to your lower back, and just find the extent of the shape that makes sense to you. Relax your head, relax your neck, and keep trying to push down into that right hip.
Oh, oh.
Go ahead and lift back up. Releasing from this pose, we'll be coming to tabletop, but it might feel good just to stretch your legs out. Just seeing what you need here. And we'll be coming into our puppy pose, so focusing a little bit more on upper back and on shoulders. So this is where I'll grab my little yoga jellies to put underneath my knees. So knees under your hips. And from here, we're just going to extend our arms out, melting chest and forehead down to the ground. Some people like to do this by bringing their chin to the floor. It's just a little bit too much for me at this point, but you're welcome to do it if it feels good to you. You can relax your arms here so your elbows make contact with your mat. And we're focusing on our mid and upper back. So melting the space of your heart. Try to pull your lower belly in a little bit so you're not swaying too much through your lower back. Some people will feel this more in their shoulders, others through their chest, or others even through their upper back. Just breathe into the sensation, feeling your rib cage expand front to back and side to side with every inhale, and a softening and a melting in the pose with every exhale. And we're gonna walk our hands back in. So coming back through to our tabletop stance. And we'll find our low lunge from here. I'm just gonna shift myself back a little bit. I'm a little too far forward. So the right foot can step to the top of the mat so that you have your right knee aligned over the top of your ankle. And just melt your hips forward and down. You can come onto your knuckles, flat on your palms, whatever is most comfortable to you here. See if you can emphasize your shoulders rolling away from your ears, even though we're mainly focusing on opening through the hip flexors, getting deep into the psoas and into the quads a little bit for our left leg, and through that inner right thigh. We're also trying to find length through our spine. So maintain slow, steady breath rhythm as we hold here for a few minutes. So we're about halfway. I'll give you an option for the second half of this pose. You can add a little bit of a twist. So keeping your left hand, your palm flat to the mat, I'm gonna bring my right hand to my right thigh and just pushing against it slightly so that I'm looking over my right shoulder. So just a little spinal rotation. And if this is not appropriate for you, you can stay in that first variation of the lunge. And let's release from this pose. We're gonna press back either to sit on your heels, or you can always do a toe squat if you prefer. Again, I'm gonna keep my little jellies under my toes. And we're just gonna do a few cat and cows from this pose before we go into the second side of our lunge. So bend your elbows at a 90-degree angle in front of you. And as you inhale, you're gonna open up wide, lifting your heart up to the sky. And as you exhale, round and contract, bring your forearms together. 3 more like this. And let's release. We'll find that low lunge on the other side. So this time you'll be stepping your left foot forward to the top of your mat, making sure you have your knee on top of your ankle, and choosing the arm variation and the hand placement that works the best for you here. Again, try to maintain length along your spine so you're not really rounding or contracting. Your arms are there to support you, but we don't want them to be pushing against the floor. If it feels like you really can't relax in this pose, you've probably gone a little bit too far into it. we're at the halfway mark, so you can stay as you are, or you can do a little twist on this side as well. Right palm is flat to the floor underneath your right shoulder. And you can bring your left hand to your thigh. A little bit of a rotation here, looking over your left shoulder, still melting your hips forward and down. You can release to face forward. So from here, rather than stepping back, we're gonna step forward, coming into our ragdoll forward fold. This is the only standing pose that we have in Yin Yoga, and we're not gonna be in it for quite as long as our other poses. So you can widen your feet towards the edges of your mat, and bend your knees as much as you want here, and just let yourself dangle. Maybe swaying a little bit side to side. Really emphasizing a full release along your spine. Try to evenly distribute your body weight through all four corners of both feet. And it might feel good to take a few cleansing breaths in this pose by inhaling through your nose and breathing out through your mouth with a big sigh. So we can do one here together. Inhale. Letting go. Bring your hands to the ground. We're gonna lower onto our backs. You can just bend your knees until your hips come down and lower all the way, moving whatever props you might have had over to the side. And go ahead and lower down. Let's come into our happy baby pose. So you can draw your knees in towards you, towards your shoulders, maybe holding here or intensifying this pose by stacking your feet over your knees, using your elbows to press your knees open a little bit more, while at the same time pulling the thighs down. Try not to let your hips lift off the ground, and also keep your head and your shoulders and upper back really grounded. And that might mean that you just need to stay in that first variation in order to keep the entire length of your spine anchored. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Deep breaths here in the pose.
Ah.
And release your feet flat to the floor. Before we come to Shavasana, let's take a reclined twist. You can do any type that you would like. I'm gonna do one with my left leg straight. I'm gonna pull my right knee in towards my belly. And I'm gonna cross my right thigh over towards the left. So I'm stacking my right hip over my left one. I'm gonna reach my right arm out, and I'm also going to turn my head so I'm looking over my right shoulder. So any variation of a laying spinal twist that you would prefer here. Let's release. Bring your head back through to center. Relax the legs. And take a moment. You can switch over to the other side. So for me, that means straightening my right leg, bringing my left thigh towards my belly, and then crossing that left thigh over to the right, reaching the left arm out. Gaze over that shoulder. Focus on releasing through your lower back and getting really heavy in this pose. Come back through to center, and finally let's unwind for Shavasana, our final resting pose. Take up some space with your arms and your legs. I'm gonna bring my arms up overhead as the shield from my eyes. I should have brought my hat out to cover. So however you are comfortable here, take these last few minutes do absolutely nothing other than simply being present with yourself. And finding that deep connection to self, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Start to breathe a little bit deeper. Coming back to this present moment and integrating some little movements to help wake you up. Maybe stretch your arms up overhead. And you can roll to one side. I want you to really use arm strength to lift yourself up. Try to let your upper body be heavy here. And we're not rushing through these movements. Just coming to take a seat in any way that is comfortable to you. And we'll join our hands together at the heart, Anjali Mudra. Making that same connection, feeling your tailbone root down through the earth, lengthening your spine. Showing yourself some kindness and some gratitude for making the time to practice today. And together, let's chant Om one time. Inhale to chant, big breath in. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this full body yin yoga practice. I would love to know how this went for you and how you feel now that we're at the end. Please leave me a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe before you go, just to help support free yoga on the internet. And hopefully I'll practice again with you very soon.
You know, us creatures know that plants are pretty sweet. Nature's way took that sweetness and put it in a bottle with zero sugar. New Alive multivitamin gummies with zero sugar. Inspired by the power of nature. Nature's way.
Downy makes clothes softer, fresher, and better. We breathe life into your laundry.
That's the end of yoga. See you in tomorrow's video.